Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very special episode of the GOW Generation Wrestling Podcast. Man, it's yours truly, the 28-year-old piece of gold of franchise, aka the showstopper. He is yours truly, EC's resident Isaac Hayes, man, the king of the GOW, the king of you all. King Too Cold in the building. And today, man, we want to talk about the elephant in the room, man. The elephant in the room. That is, of course, Sasha Banks and Naomi, the current WWE Women's Tag Team Champions last night during Monday Night Raw. Hey, look, man, they pulled a CM Punk, they pulled a Jeff Hardy, they pulled a Tony Storm, man. They said, you know what, we tired, boss, we tired. And Tuco, man, you and I, we were talking before we got on the air here. So, apparently there were some creative disagreements between Sasha and Naomi and Vince and, Johnny Ace and a couple of the producers. And man, oh man, a lot of people, man, they kind of wonder, like, is it a shoot? Is it a work? And it's like the more information comes out, man, it's becoming more and more apparent. Yo, hey, this is the real deal Holyfield, man. Tuco. This is Sasha Banks' second time, man. Second time that we know
Third
of.
time for actually the kind of like third time she actually done this.
Yeah. She's proven, man. Hey, look, if she doesn't get booked or she doesn't get treated the way she feels like she deserves to be treated, she will walk. I mean, that is somebody who definitely knows their worth. Naomi happens to be a part of this time, this go around. But I want to ask you something, man, before we really get started in here. Okay, Tuko, let's talk. Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks is somebody who this year, man, 2022, has proven that she doesn't need WWE anymore. That she has a career outside of WWE, that she definitely has mainstream potential. I mean, just look at what she did in The Mandalorian and all the commercials and stuff that she's got coming up now. Sasha Banks is truly proven to be one of those rare superstars to kind of break the mold, and you see it. Now, with that being said, I've seen several comments on the internet, and they said, you know what? Sasha deserves to get that Roman Reigns treatment. And what they mean, and pretty much how it was described to me is Sasha's a big star, treat her like a big star, you know? And when they kind of broke it down, Tuco, Sasha Banks, arguably top three. Easy. Easy. Wrestling right now, top three. If you want to talk about it from a historical standpoint, first ballot Hall of Famer. Now, can you say you got a couple of question marks with the injuries and stuff like that? Absolutely. A couple things to be desired, sure. But all across the board, she checks the boxes. She got the mainstream appeal, championship contender, can cut a promo, can wrestle her ass off. Tuco, man, do you feel like, long story short, before we really get into this, Sasha Banks, man, do you think she's doing the right thing by sticking to her guns, especially knowing what I just explained to you beforehand? Or do you think, man, Sasha getting a little bit over her head here?
Um, hmm. For me, it's a little difficult because I think it's a little bit of both. Um, it does kind of come off as spoiled, but at the same time, it comes off spoiled because of sometimes who she is, and what I mean by that is being a black woman. It comes off being spoiled because you think a lot of people don't really see her being as good as she really is and think that she's overrated. uh it also comes off the fact that, yeah, again, like I said, she's had three instances where this has happened, where she didn't agree with creative and the direction of where them not having anything for her, but you seem to muster up something for people that you want to see get opportunities, but then you see a lot of people you see a lot of people get time that you would rather see someone else is worth it,
Yeah.
and you don't get that. So there's validation there for Sasha Banks. I think the negative for Sasha Banks is because this has happened one too many times, so some people really look at it as her being spoiled. um it's no different if Charlotte complains about it. And people can say, well, Charlotte's spoiled too. And that's true too, but Charlotte still gets that respect. That's the difference. Charlotte still will get that title match. Charlotte will still get that title. Charlotte will still get her story, regardless of how the company is feeling. Even if they feel like that it's uh she's being a prima donna or diva or whatever, uh, you know her value. You know Sasha Banks' value, and Sasha Banks has value. You can't discredit that. But one of the things we've always gotten on WWE for is their creative. How can you have a creative and not have something for your top talent? You should always have something for somebody to do, even if it's just them going out there and wrestling somebody. And not every story has to be a big, huge story. Sometimes
Yeah.
something can be small if it's done for the right reasons. You can take a Sasha Banks and an up and coming star that has potential and try to work something with them and make good feuds. Not every feud has to be the most, glamorous thing. Sometimes the best feuds, what's going on, Pop? Sometimes the best
Look, Pop.
feuds are the ones that you don't see coming. And you can do that with a lot of great talent. You don't do that with Sasha Banks. It seems like she has to complain in order to do something respectable. And some people see it that way, some people don't. Like Leo just said, I think it's both because, yeah, she's kind of got that knock on her. And yeah, and there were moments where, yeah, we questioned it, and she had a good reason, but they look at how it goes. I guess what the thing that gets people is how it happens. It's what happens. It's the conversation that gets put out, and a lot of times it's one sided because it's WWE saying one thing like they did and how they did, and then people jump on that and just continue to ride that wave. And then when she comes out and says what she says, it's more of, yeah, nah, you don't know what you're talking about. When we know that this is a company that changes what they're doing on the drop of a dime. They have
Yeah.
changed so many stories, scripts, characters with with the quickness. We have questioned so many things that they have done and asked why did they do this and what made them think this made sense and then totally
Right.
disregard it and do other stuff later on. So you want to be if you want to be naive, all right, but you can't come with an argument that what she did was selfish. Naomi, on the other hand, and I want to get back to you, but Naomi, on the other hand, hey, I'm sorry, Naomi has been disrespected, and the fans have let it be known that she has been disrespected. There has been too many times where Naomi has been there, ready to go, could do something, and she is over with the people. The people
Yeah.
like Naomi. When she
Yeah.
comes out, people cheer for her. Hey, the people, they feel the glow. They win it. They give her the love. Is she the greatest in the ring? No, but is she capable? Hell, fucking yeah. So the fact that you have a capable wrestler that is over with the fans, and you blatantly don't really do nothing with it. I mean, come on, man. Let's be honest. The whole Sonya Deville thing,
I
man,
was just
dude,
about
that
to get
was
to that. Yeah.
that was lame. Like it had something, but you stopped and go with it for so long until it got to a point where you had no choice but to kind of go with it because you had nothing else going on, and that was so chaotic that it lost the luster. But people still cheered, wanting to see Naomi get over. That
Right.
should tell you something. And the fact that okay, you decided to put the titles on Naomi and Sasha, it wasn't a bad decision. It was a great decision. They're two former champions. They're well known. Maybe they can put some legitimacy to the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. But again, we're trusting a company that we know don't give a shit about this division, or not, or not to say they don't give a shit, but they don't give a shit to where they make things logical or they make things respectable.
Right.
They've done so much flip flop with the tag team women's tag team championships that really honestly it's just It is what it is. They're all just placeholders for temporary people that they want to get over. And if that was the case, you could have did so much with them. And if they wanted to work and wanted a team like Dewdrop and Nikki Ash, who have been a tag team, and you can make something out of that with those two, and they can, and they can come up, cool. Why not do that? But instead, like that whole scenario of what you explained earlier of Naomi facing Bianca, and then for whatever reason, Sasha's gonna
Sasha
face
and
Ron.
Ronda.
Like
Yeah.
that, like why are you gonna have your tag team champions lose? It's like you're doing certain things and it makes no sense. And people, we always question it. I, I feel that, but that's how I feel, bro. I feel like honestly, I'm with them on the creative side of what they disagree about. You can do things in a better way, but clearly, you don't have enough give a damn to understand and see where the wrestlers are coming from. And I'll say this, that's the thing that a lot of people notices with AEW. They're not perfect. They still have their flaws, but talent they have more of a vocal voice in their direction. Even if they don't even get their way, they still have a better vocal voice than they do in WWE, unless you're a certain type of person.
Yeah, and guys, excuse me if my voice is going out a little bit. Your boy going through some major, major pain over here. But
And
going
that's why
back
I'm
to
talking a little bit more.
but going back to not Natalia, excuse me, going back to Naomi
Sasha
and
and Naomi.
Sasha, if they, I mean, just me in my mind, right? If they lose, first of all, you're the tag team champions, the women's tag team champions. Why, if you guys haven't even had a title defense of the tag team championships, why would I then want to see you two fight in singles matches for singles titles on two different brands at the same time and lose? Because my thing is, if y'all both lose on a one-on-one, how in the hell or why logically would I believe y'all could defend your titles together when y'all can't even win apart? Like it's just so much about that makes no sense. And then okay, you want to have supposedly Sasha go against Ronda and lose. So it wasn't enough that Sasha Banks was already allegedly supposed to win the Royal Rumble up until the last minute when they decided to bring Ronda Rousey back. So it's not enough that Sasha lost her moment there. It wasn't enough that Sasha, didn't get her WrestleMania moment then, right? And then you want to ask her as a champion to lose to another champion to put that champion over who is not her fault, but let's be honest, took her moment to begin with. That is stupid. When you have so many other women you can use, you got the Dewdrops, you got the Xia Lees, you got the Carmelas, you have the returning Alexa Bliss. Hell, you want to give Bianca Belair somebody to beat? Alexa Bliss. People will love to see Alexa Bliss versus Bianca Belair. Not that she's gonna beat
I'm
her, but that
sorry.
would
I
go
don't mean
ahead.
to cut you off, but if that's the case, why not do your WrestleMania rematch at
That's
Backlash?
true.
Why did you have the women defend their tag team championships at Backlash? I said, dude, you could have a women dominant championship pay per view if you'd have just put the Raw tag team champions and the Raw women's champions and the
Yeah,
women's tag team champions on the show. That'd have been three women's title matches. That's all the title matches you did.
yeah,
That would have made so much more sense. And you could have put the Naomi, I mean, I know you could put the Natalia and Shayna Baszler. You could have used that match instead of saving it for SmackDown after the pay per view. You could have put
yeah,
it on the pay per view. Actually, I'm not saying it would have made the pay per view better, but it would have made more sense that you got these women champions defending their tag. At least give them a win on the pay per view. So even if you were still going to go in a direction of
yeah,
splitting them up and have them go face the represented women's champions at the next pay per view, okay, at least you've given them a win. So as a tag team, we see they're formidable, but as single stars, maybe whatever. It might not have totally still liked it, but maybe that would have been a little passable. I'm sorry. I just had to get that in, man. I wanted you to get your stuff in, but it was just
No,
like,
no.
why not do those things if you care about it? And that's why I say I don't think they really care about it because you didn't do those things. We questioned that before the pay-per-view.
No, no, and you know, you absolutely 100% correct. And my thing is this, and I'm gonna pass to you. I need you to take over for a quick second. But you know, WWE, you know, they want to be they want to tout to be the first to do everything, right? When we had
Mhm.
the Evolution pay per view, they touted that, they bragged about that. Whenever they do something, quote unquote, for the first time, they make sure they throw it in your face. When we go over to Saudi Arabia, they make sure they throw it in your face. My thing is this: when you had the women's evolution, which turned into the women's revolution, the women's revolution, which turned into the evolution back 2014, 2015. WWE, they bragged about it. The first ever women's main event, well, not main event, but the first ever women's Hell in a Cell, the first ever women's this, the first ever women's that. And then right now, you arguably have the best women's division you've ever had. And that's including, you know, the women that you called up from NXT and a few in NXT. But if we're talking main
Mhm.
roster, SmackDown and Raw, you got the best roster ever. And you guys want to talk about, you know, giving the women more time and the women more equality and the women better booking. Yet you have two women, one in particular, Sasha Banks, sitting up here telling you, bro, what was the issue when Sasha Banks and Bailey when they first won the titles? They said they wanted to take that shit to Raw, to SmackDown, and NXT. They wanted to
And
fight
they didn't do it, and
everybody.
they didn't let them. They started out doing it, and then they just dropped it, and they didn't do nothing for weeks.
They wanted to fight everybody, right? And then guess what? When Sasha left the company the first time, right? And they said that her and Bailey was throwing 10% in the hallway. But then you fuck around and find out that it made sense why she left. I mean, dude, come on, man. You out here busting your ass, and then you get a title to the Iconics, who went months without defending. You didn't even see the tag team titles on TV for months. But then you had Bailey and Sasha Banks, two of the most over people in the company, two people who you know week in, week out gonna give you a banger of a match that wants to fight different people. That's the thing. They don't care about fighting anybody like Charlotte. They don't care about fighting the Indy Hardwells. They don't care about fighting the Italians. Bro, they just want to give everybody an equal opportunity because they want to do what WWE claims they want to do. You claim that the women are equal. You claim that the women are this, the women are that. Okay, well, now you got somebody that's fighting for that. Okay, Vince McMahon, same thing. My thing is this. Okay, what's the one thing that people get labeled when you disagree with them in WWE creatively? Hard to work with. Bray Wyatt,
Hmm.
your top merch seller, one of the most over people you'd have had, probably the only person that could pull off an Undertaker-like gimmick and get away with it in this current day and age and be believable. But because he had a vision for his character, that same vision that got the fans and the office to fall in love with. Oh, but then the vision started getting big. Oh, now you're starting to make money off of it. Now you're getting greedy. Now, once again, you want to try to gentrify. You want to try to come in and cherry pick it and make it your own. And then guess what? Oh, dude telling you, nah, bro, this is my hood, man. This is my block, bro. Hey, no. You got to compensate me a little better than that. This is my vision. Oh, now all of a sudden, you hard to work with. Sasha Banks since day one. What else she say? Since I was 9 years old, I want to be in the WWE. Since I was 9 years old, I want to be women's champion. My favorite wrestler is Eddie Guerrero. This, that, and the third. She tell you her story every single time. Bailey, same thing. John Cena was my favorite wrestler growing up. You know, I want to be an example, a role model for women and young children, yada, 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 yada. And then you get two women, Sasha Banks, Bailey, whoever, Naomi, whoever. They can go out here, bro. They can wrestle. They can get their check. They can put on half-ass matches and get paid comfortably, handsomely. But now they out here, they challenging you as the boss. Because you like Mr. McMahon, you like to have your authority challenge, right? You like when people show you they balls and they ain't no bitch, as I like to say. You know,
Hmm.
you like when people got to prove themselves. I mean, hell, Cody had to go and be part of the reason they started a whole goddamn brand new company over there. Oh, you didn't respect him back when he was doing little flippy dudes and shit at Stardust. So he had to leave and he had to make a name and he had to come back. And it's crazy because you got a woman right now who by herself could probably make you more money than Trish Stratus ever made you. Who could make you more money than Lita ever made you.
And
And
that's
then when
their
you talk
fault.
about it,
That's that.
and when you talk,
When you say that, that's WWE's fault because they could have maximized on that and they didn't.
exactly. Exactly. Like, look at the mainstream potential she has. You didn't want to let Ali go, and I love Ali. I love Mustafa Ali. But can you imagine dropping the ball with Sasha Banks? And then let's not even talking about Naomi. Naomi is criminally underrated. Come on, bro. One of the most athletic women you got on your roster. You talk about somebody who's spoiled, who has a right to be spoiled, and we know what that is.
She
That's
ain't
cold.
spoiled.
That's
She's got a
hold
right
on.
to be upset. She's
But
got a
let me
right to
tell you.
be upset. She's got a
Let
right
me
to
tell
be
you.
pissed.
But let me tell you, spoiled. We know what that means when they say that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because people online, they wonder where was this energy at from WWE when Charlotte and Nia Jax got into it on live TV during the match, fucking around, giving each other real ass receipts. Where was this same energy at when you had Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair when they supposed to do the whole exchange and they throwing titles at each other on TV? Yeah, you heard about it on the dirt sheets, but WWE ain't come out with a press release. Oh, but now Naomi and Sasha Banks, they get into a little creative disagreement, and now all of a sudden you got the commentators dogging them. You got everybody dragging them. Y'all want to come out with a press release before the show is even over
Mm.
with. Yeah. You want to do damage control and try to control the narrative already with them. It's like, bro, my thing is this, and it's crazy because even after Sasha came back, she defended the fuck out of WWE and Vince McMahon, regardless. Bro, everybody that leaves WWE says the same thing. You know, when one person said, maybe disgruntled. Two people, maybe a couple of disgruntled people. But when everybody say the same thing, bro, eventually you got to look in the mirror and realize you're the problem. Vince, you're the problem. WWE, you're the problem. John Laurinaitis, you're the problem.
I
I,
wouldn't even say that John Laurenitis is the problem because he knows how
keep talking,
Vince
bro. Keep
is.
talking.
Look, you said a lot of great things, man. And let's be honest, man. Okay, we understand where WWE is now. That's why I always say it's world entertainment with a little bit of wrestling because that's what this company has become. It has become the entertainment company. It has not become the wrestling company that we know it to be. The only reason that you see somewhat of a give a damn from WWE is from the company that everyone says is not competition because of the things that they were doing. You say Cody Rhodes had to leave to prove his point. You damn right. Why did he have to leave? Because Vince McMahon did not see him being a main event draw. So that's why he was stuck being Gold Dust's little brother Stardust. He didn't want to do that. He felt bigger for himself. So what did he do? He left the company. He went on the road for 3 years and Impact, Ring of Honor, New Japan, and became a bigger name. Such a bigger name that him, Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and a few others decided, yo, let's find somebody that will help us create a company for guys like us. That there is a reason why AEW was created. It wasn't created so it can be a true competition to WWE. It was created to be an alternative so people could have an opportunity. And Cody took that opportunity and look at where he's at now. Okay, yeah, no one, if you expected AEW to be where WWE is now, shame on you because that shows your ignorance and your wrestling knowledge and what you should understand and know about what this company was and just looking at it from both sides, not just looking at it from one side. If you're going to tell me that Cody Rhodes can leave a company because he wasn't valued as a top draw, become a top draw and come back and have creative control and you see that he can do that. Now, is that because of his name, Rhodes? I do think that plays a part. That's what helps.
Right.
He has that name, Rhodes. It does help. But when you have talent of the likes of Bray Wyatt, a Sasha Banks, a Bailey, and all these others that are really good and can hold their own, like they're the new standards of what we appreciate of WWE. Until WWE is like start doing illogical things because you think this is what's entertaining. Like I'm starting to really wonder who are you really entertaining? Who are you really going out there and think that you're who wants to see half of the stuff that you're really putting out there? Yeah, you show us Cody Rhodes. Yeah, you give us Roman Reigns. Yeah, you give us the little bit of stuff that still resembles that part of wrestling that we like. But a lot of this other stuff, man, it it's BS. It's entertainment. You're trying to just give us soap opera backstage stuff with a little bit of wrestling, and I'm sorry, I'm tired of it. You've been the conglomerate for years. No one really. TNA was an alternative. I won't say TNA was competition. TNA was an alternative. What's going on, Hope? And there was another person that just came on. I hadn't seen their name before. Welcome to the
Kimberly.
show, Kimberly. Welcome to the show, Kimberly. At the same time, man, it was an alternative. They did a few things that was different from WWE, so it got a lot more attention. But it was nowhere near where WWE is. We have been accustomed to this company and what it does. And for the longest, we have been watching them waste talented people because they don't think they're good enough, regardless of the fan reaction. We always say the two things you need in this business, you either
Right.
need the fans cheering for you or cheering against you. But when they don't cheer for you or against you, that's when you got trouble. If you're going to push people to me that you think should be a big draw, and we know Veer is not going to be a big draw, all right? Come on, you promoted this dude for 6 months, and when he came out, it's not like people were really all that enthused about seeing him, man. It's like, come on, man, who are you? You're promoting somebody, man, that we really don't have too much confidence in. And
Right.
for the casual fans, they're not going to know who the hell he is any damn way. But that's all you care about. You do not care about the established that are over and pushing them. You can have the WWE still has the best roster, even with the young talent they have or the not so veteran talent that they have. They still got a great roster, and there's so you can do so much different with it and still be entertaining at the same time. But man, can we get back to the ruthless aggression era of wrestling? Can you take me back that far? At least give me that far because we had characters, but we had great wrestling, and that's what we don't have. So when you have people like Sasha Banks and Naomi, and I'll say it, Sasha Banks, she's had this moment one too many times. I can see why people are against her. Naomi, on the other hand, nah, bruh, y'all been wasting Naomi. Yeah, she had her little injury moments, but when the girl was healthy and ready to go, she was one of those
Right.
people that the people like. They was always cheering for her. They always wanted to see her. You could have been doing so much with her. I'm not mad at how they've done Bianca. I'll give them the credit that they do. They did Bianca great. They built Bianca to be that next big star in the women's division. They did an excellent job for it. I will give them
Right.
that credit. But when you have a person like Naomi, even if you still wanted to build Bianca, you still have somebody that's more talented than a lot of other people you're giving so much push and time to just because of a look. WWE is going back to that diva look again. They're going
Yeah.
back to that how you look and to keep the people up. And it's like, come on, man, Vince. We already when you brought these new group of women to us, and we saw that they're wrestlers, they're they're brawlers, they're fighters. They're not just some pretty girl coming out for eye candy. Dude, you spoiled people because this is what we wanted to see. Now you're the purpose of the purpose of the women's evolution is being uh is being drained a little bit. It's deteriorating. That's what I want to deteriorating because you have good women wrestlers that you can use in such better ways that they're more comfortable with than doing nonsensical things that make no sense just to put over somebody that's really not over. I'm sorry. I don't really think people are really that hot of Ronda Rousey. I understand why you brought her back. I understood why you might want to give Sasha Banks the opportunity against her because knowing Ronda, she's doing an open challenge. So you want somebody to come out and face her with a name on a pay per view. Sasha Banks is a person with a name at the pay per view. But I agree with, I don't have a problem with what they're thinking. I don't have a problem with them wanting to work with a different tag team, someone
Right.
new, someone that people like, someone that people want to see. Once you introduce the idea of a Dewdrop and Nikki Ash, that kind of got people going. Like, oh wow, y'all gonna do that? Y'all gonna make Nikki drop the hero act because it faded out like we all knew it would. Y'all gonna make her back to what we kind of like about her, and you're gonna put Dewdrop with her, and people know Dewdrop. We want to see Dewdrop be her, not this other chick that you've been kind of making her out to be,
Right.
because people watch NXT, people watch NXT UK. So when those folks know who this person is and they want to see more of who they are, and we're not getting it, and you don't utilize it to the best of its ability, how much longer do you expect people to continue to take it?
Yeah, and that's the thing, like with God damn, who my face. With Ronda Rousey,
Yeah.
when she came in the first time, it's like okay, cool, because at that point, you haven't seen Ronda in a combat capacity since she took that last loss at UFC and retired. So when she came back, it was like cool because at the same time, this is right around. It's like all right, look, the women's evolution slash revolution is really taking off. You really kind of got to a full stride. All right, what's that one icing on the cake? You didn't necessarily need Ronda Rousey, but having a legitimate
It
fighter,
added something. The first
yeah,
time, or
yeah,
the first go round, it added something.
it
But then
it
after a while, you knew it was going to be a disaster.
well, to me, I think they try to replicate Brock Lesnar, right? When Brock Lesnar went to the UFC and he came back to WWE, you got that prize fighter. You know what I'm saying? You got that legitimate shoot fighter, and I think they try to get the same effect for the women's division with Ronda Rousey. Unfortunately, for the first go around, it was like okay, we gave her a pass because like it was
Yeah.
her first time, but then she was
Yeah.
gone for 2 years and then came back and has literally shown no improvement on the mic and doesn't seem like in the ring either. So now it's like, all right, bro, you done had 2 years, and then you see, the other uh one of the second iteration of the Four Horsewomen and Shayna Baszler. You're like, bruh, she taking to this shit like a camel in water, but they refuse to push her, probably for obvious reasons. Whatever, I don't necessarily agree with it. It's wrestling, not a beauty contest, but still, I mean, tell that to Vince.
No, it's
So
WWE, not wrestling. That's what it
yeah,
is.
exactly. Like, there's no reason right now why on the main roster, not to get too far off topic, but there's no reason Shayna Baszler should be at least a 1 or 2 time women's champion. There's no reason besides, Vince and the higher ups and how they feel about certain shit. But you know,
Well, that
other
that plays a part. To be fair, that plays a part in a lot of women. Um, that whole image and look. I mean, come on, man. We already heard the Mandy Rose effect. That's what Vince likes. That's what he wants
yeah,
the women to dress up like now. So we all want y'all. Here's your template. This is what we all want the women to look like. And if you don't look like that, well,
yeah,
you're gonna be at the back of the line. So that, to be fair, is across the board. That's
yeah,
not delivered to just one group of people. That's across the board of women, period, which sucks because, again, we have Triple H has spoiled us at NXT. Oh, has he given us so many great women that can wrestle? And WWE has foiled some of those women. Yes, there are some that have come up and had success, but there are some that, oh my God, it's like why? How can you not? How did you drop the ball on this?
right,
But that's the reason we feel that way, because we see that improvement and we like it and we want it to continue. But WWE isn't focused on the wrestling, it's focused on the entertainment. And as long as it's going to be that way, you're going to have more of these moments. If you think Sasha Banks and Naomi are going to be the last people to do this, you're wrong. People have been doing this. The only reason this is getting the big notice is because it happened during the show.
yeah,
Because it happened during the show. And what's coming out from the WWE standpoint is looking negative towards them. And of course, anything you do against WWE, people are usually gonna they're usually gonna bash you for it, man. Especially if they already feel you're overrated anyway. So that just kind of shows you where some people feel about them, but there's a lot of people, the majority, that really like both of these women for what they do and what they provide, man.
yeah. But no, with that being said, man, ladies and gentlemen, we just want to kind of hop on here real quick, talk a little,
For sure, man.
Sasha Banks and a little Naomi. Me on the other hand,
34 minutes, man. One topic. That damn.
yeah, me. I feel like the good Lord and Savior has kicked me in the face, man. So, I'm gonna go ahead and you
Damn, what
know,
did you do to make wait a minute, what did you do to make the Lord kick you in this face? He
you
came out
gotta
the
have.
heaven and said, "Bow." He gave that swift kick to the jaw real quick.
Hey man, God said, "Let there be thunder," and He laced up His size 55, so He got me right square in the chin, man.
God damn. Woo, boy, 55. Woo, shit.
Boy.
Boy, you shouldn't be alive right now. I should be the only person on this podcast.
Hey man, look, hey, He felt sorry for me.
I see it. I see it. He's still his child. So yeah, no doubt.
I made in His image, which is why I can't die. But with
All
that
right.
being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for tuning in to another episode of Generation Wrestling Podcast. Tomorrow, man, we got that AEW Dynamite review coming to you live and direct.
For
Man,
sure,
your
for
boy
sure.
is going
Evil
through it.
third, yeah. Evil Thursdays. We'll see you Friday night SmackDown Rampage. I think it's another early show because of the hockey playoffs, but we'll do what we do. So you'll see your boys for the next couple of days.
Yeah, you know it. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for tuning in to another episode of Generation Wrestling Podcast. I'm the 28-year-old piece of gold. He's too cold, and we'll see y'all when we see you. Peace.